I think I'll run through most of these slides because then this will be like nidus and a focus can be later on discussed and we can have more interactive sessions. Just need to highlight two lines here that WHO in 1948 told us what health is all about, and health is a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being and not merely absence of disease. This is what we need to understand when we are dealing about health. Now, regarding the health of the preschool children, and also I would include the early schooling children, there are a few things which I have picked up and I wanted to highlight to the audience and other panelists, that health education should be appropriate to age. Many a times we tell the children what they cannot comprehend. So what we tell them, they should be able to understand. When the child goes to school, it's very important that they should be having a monitoring of physical growth. And physical growth by means of health checkups, which should be done in preschool children. And also most of these are under pediatrician's care when they are going to private good schools. But those who are going to general government schools or other schools, they cannot have an access to good pediatricians. So health checkups should be done for all these children mandatorily in preschool children. Then regarding about the hygiene, again it's important that the concept, and I think there are two things which are very important for our country. One is a good hygiene. If we can take care of good hygiene, half our diseases can be taken care of as a preventive measure, as we had been listening to in the earlier lectures. And for the hygiene, hand washing is the prime thing which can be taught to the children, apart from other things like looking after the nails, the uniforms, which the teachers can casually do in all the classrooms. Again, vaccination is one area which is often neglected, and the only way to check that the child is fully immunized and vaccinated is when the child gets into the school. At the entry level, we must see the vaccination cards. And some of these schools are doing, because as a pediatrician, I am signing these reports and schools are asking, but majority of them still may not be doing. Again, eye checkup is one thing which we lack, and at times I've picked up children really in my clinic who have been at the age of 4 years, 5 years, who have been having visual problems because of which they had psychological problems, learning problems, and they were never picked up. So if we have one eye checkup in first year of life, which will be of course with the parents in the parents domain, but if we have one eye checkup in the school time below 5 years of age, we may pick up many of these abnormalities which may go unnoticed, and these can actually improve the performance of these children. Again, deworming at regular intervals. We have been trying in Delhi about a few months back. We had dewormed the whole of Delhi schools, all the government schools. About 40 lakh children were dewormed on one single day. If we can have something like that in the schools, and the school principals or the teachers can maintain a diary that every child get at least one deworming course in a year, that will ease the problems of especially anemia, especially in girls. And you will be amazed to know that 75% of our population in India is anemic. This was a surprising figure to me also, but this is the official health figure. And if we have 75% of anemic children who are in our country, their intellectual is bound to be affected when they grow older. And anemia and iron deficiency is one thing which can be corrected at a very early age. Apart from that, some of the things which I have picked up while in my practice and while interacting with parents is the use of writing skills very early in life, and that actually the children are not prepared for writing at very early age in life. And sometimes this can actually, because the muscles in the fingers, the muscles which are required to hold the pen or a pencil are not well developed, and if a child starts writing at a very early age, especially with a thin pen or a pencil, is likely to make handwriting problems, and which may not be correctable at a later age. Now what we have everyday difficulty in waking up the child, overloaded school bags, overcrowded buses, three-wheelers for schools. When they return, they are usually tired and sleepy. They may complain of headache, body aches, homeworks continuing till late night, and again the fear of child going to school next day. He would not be very happy in going to the school. What we had done in our academy last year was we had made an action plan in which we had picked up 5 things which are very important for these children. First was no physical punishment in school, then no excess baggage in school, Adequate number of toilets should be present in all school. Safe and proper transportation for school. Adequate classrooms and playgrounds. On these, I'll just elaborate very briefly on each of these points for half a minute or so. No physical punishment. School, I think everybody would agree in today's world that we do not need to punish these children. And at times you find reports in newspapers and magazines that children get bruises and other injuries while they are punished in school. Punishment, if it has to be, it should be a good punishment for a bad behavior, not for poor studying or poor performance. Again, no excess baggage. This is a very important thing. We have done studies all over the country, including Delhi, where the excess baggage problem was seen, and there were newspaper reports from everywhere. We had a very full-fledged study done in Kerala, where the overloaded bags were reported, and the press was very active in helping us out. And what our good old days was a light school bag converted into a heavy school bag these days for children, which becomes a school phobia for most of these children. And it's just like a laborer carrying a heavy bag on his head that these children have to be aided with getting these school bags loaded and unloaded. And once we are traveling, we have these light bags, but when we come to our children, a 6-year-old child studying in class 2, who himself weighs about 17 kg, would be carrying a bag of 3.5 kg. Another child may be carrying a bag of 7 kg when he is in 5th standard. And we had done a study where we had seen the weights of these bags, and most of these bags which were weighing were more than 20% of the child's weight, which is way beyond the norms which are laid down. So we had devised a few measures of reducing the weight of the bag. One was by keeping the books in the school from class 1 to 5th, which is not a very difficult thing. Minimum age for entry in KG classes, of course, most of these schools have gone up to 4 years now. No second language in KG classes, no formal examination, and no homework for these younger children. Backpacks, we can have separate books for each term. This was a very nice thing which we have done in whole of Kerala has been adopting this thing. That instead of having all the books of one session going to the school, every term will have a book which will have components of each of these subjects rather than every subject having a book separately. We have a 3-monthly or 2-monthly syllabi from each subject which can be combined into one book. Or filing system can be done, I'll tell you how. And no textbooks can be carried to school. These are the files which we had introduced, and these children used to carry these small files instead of the heavy books. How we were doing, we were just putting papers inside the file. Every day's classwork was done, put in the file, taken back home, and the then child can put the these papers together in a file at home rather than carrying these heavy notebooks. And of course, the filing system, of course, is not very new idea, but it has some practical difficulties which can be handled, and it makes the life much easier for these children. Again, these bags themselves sometimes are very heavy, and the weight of the bag has to be taken into consideration when we are selecting these bags. The bags, simple bags with a lighter weight are the best. They should have wide straps. They should have a pelvic strap, which is very important. A right technique of lifting the bag so that it doesn't sprain the child's back. Using both the straps rather than hanging the bag with one strap. And it's very important that when they load the bag, the heavy objects should be near the body. That would be the center of gravity of the body will be like a line with the center of gravity of the bag, and it will not cause strain on the child's back. So I'm just highlighting that many of these media also was active. And what Dr. Jitendra was highlighting that the childhood onset adult diseases like diabetes and hypertension and coronary diseases we are already seeing. But a new disease which we are likely to see is the low backache in young adults. And that is what we are already getting, these young children coming with low backaches. So I think it's high time that we should bid a farewell to these heavy bags. Another important issue was proper transportation and a safe transportation for these children when they are going to schools. And we often read newspaper clippings and news that these children sometimes have accidents and the safety of the vehicles is not taken care of. They are overcrowded, buses as well as other means of transport. Another important point is the adequate classrooms and the playgrounds, which are all sometimes overlooked, especially in busy cities and overcrowded places. What we need to have properly ventilated and illuminated classrooms. You see on one classroom there's very well illuminated. On the other hand, you see the another one which is not well illuminated, and children may have problems in reading and writing apart from the ventilation. So we had laid down certain criteria which you can look into our website also, that we for a number of students we must have about 10 square feet of the space per classroom, which sometimes may be difficult in cities, but these are the ideal ones. And of course doors and windows can be in any placed, and the light should be coming from the left side with sufficient veranda space and open playgrounds. And school of course should have playgrounds, and children should be allowed to go into these activities, cultural activities and other activities. Again, the last one is the adequate number of toilets. And what we found in some of these schools, I will not show you the pictures because they were very detrimental, and they were sometimes pathetic, that these children were using so unhygienic and unclean toilets. And what we devised was that there should be one urinal for about 60 students and one toilet for about 100 students, which should be separate for boys and girls. And of course daily cleaning was very important thing. So what I'll give a last slide is not a carry home but a carry bag message, that the problems of overloaded school bag is a serious issue for our children. There are simple and effective methods to reduce the weight of the backpack. Inadequate number of toilets, lack of playgrounds, unsafe transports are serious problems but not yet received proper attention of authorities. And it is time to act. I think, as I said in the last talk also, that somebody has to bell the cat, the school management, the teachers, the parents, and also the regulatory authorities have to take care of this. And a friendly school, I would say, is when a child says that I want to go to the school on Saturday and Sunday also, this is how the school should be defined, that the school is really a child-friendly school. So under this child-friendly school initiative, we are planning that we would, from one state to another, we have initiated this move in Delhi also, and we would be almost corresponding with most of these schools to have this child-friendly school initiative being implemented in various schools. Thank you very much, and now I think we can have any questions if you permit.